Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Devin, and today I'm going to be talking about the fear of going under, specifically the fear of going under when it comes to top surgery. Personally, top surgery was the first surgery that I ever had. I literally had never been put under before. I never had experienced anesthesia before, so I was really feeling the feelings in terms of like, internal dread. But before I get into that, if you are new here, new as in not subscribed, please go ahead and press that subscribe button down below to help my channel grow. Although this is not directly connected to fitness, if you are interested in working with me on a custom meal plan or a custom training plan, maybe you do want to get prepared for top surgery in terms of your chest, feel free to email me. It's going to pop up over here. I'm also going to include my website link down below, which includes my high protein cookbook, Healthy Doesn't Suck, as well as an at-home dumbbell only training plan. And of course, my training plan, MASC Made Simple. Ideally, I'm going to be easing your nerves a little bit around anesthesia, around getting top surgery, because fear of going under is actually a pretty big roadblock that can be standing between you and getting top surgery. I myself, whenever I have anxiety, like I have fear of flying, it gets really freaking bad. I literally have panic attacks. Like genuinely, it's actually embarrassing. I did have that anxiety going into top surgery, but ultimately my dysphoria outweighed my anxiety, if that made sense. My girlfriend had been put under before for dental work, and she was like, it's not a big deal, don't worry about it. But of course, whenever somebody tells you it's not a big deal, like, does that register? No. When I went into the office, they essentially had me meet my anesthesiologist. They did the IV. I assumed that was a port for the anesthesia.
What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about?
The poke I just endured. I was able to talk to the anesthesiologist, and he seemed like a competent person, which in my book was good enough. And ultimately, I think that if you do tell the doctors, tell the whole team beforehand, hey, you know, I do have this anxiety, I've never been put under before, or I didn't have the greatest experience being put under, I think that they can maybe make it a warmer experience for you, a warmer atmosphere for you. So definitely share your concerns. After they put the IV port in, they wheeled me into the OR. They actually had me move from the bed that I was wheeled into onto the OR table, and it was warm. Like they had like warming mats or like warming like heating pad, and then they had me count backwards, and they were like, you're gonna fade away now. And I was just kind of like, okay. They had me count backwards, and it's literally just like falling asleep. It doesn't feel chemically induced. I have fainted before. It feels much less frightening than fainting, because when you faint, you're kind of aware like, I'm going to faint now. Ultimately, the biggest thing that really hit home for me after I woke up was that felt like 2 seconds. If y'all have ever seen Interstellar, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, y'all know that scene where Matthew McConaughey arrives back from that planet where time moves super fast. Everybody else has aged like 30 years.
I've waited years. How many years? By now it must be.
It's 23 years, 4 months, 8 days.
Well, that's what it feels like when you go under. Surgery, I think my surgery lasted like 3 or 4 hours. My girlfriend was waiting for me in the waiting room and all of that, and I literally was just like, the time is gonna pass by super fast. I had this fear of dying while I was under. I was afraid that I was just simply never gonna wake up. Fear comes from the unknown, right? So if you've never been under before, that fear does exist. But like I said, my dysphoria was just throwing the hands on me too much. And one thing that can actually help you big time with the whole mental battle that goes into top surgery, and this isn't just specific to the anesthesia, it can be applied to everything around the anxiety of top surgery. Like I said, I never had any surgeries, like beyond a vaccine. I never had any sort of medical interventions, right? So I just had fear about surgery in general. Like, what if I, you know, wake up during the anesthesia? And honestly, they have the anesthesiologist there with you to monitor you. It's not like they're just putting you under and going away and getting Starbucks. Like, they're going to be there monitoring you to confirm that you're not waking up. Like, they have methods of doing that. I think that the most of us do have to undergo therapy to get our WPATH letter in order to get top surgery. And I think that it would be super useful within that therapy to discuss with your therapist, I said therapist 18 times, what fears you have. So if being put under is a fear you have, just talk about it, get it out. Holding that fear inside yourself and having it be a roadblock to living the life that you want to live. If you talk to the therapist, they may just help you out of that fear. They may be like, hey bro, I also had this fear. Like, talking to other people and understanding that you're not the only person who feels like this. Other people also feel like that and they've survived, makes you feel less alone. Like, not too long ago, I had to fly on a plane for the first time by myself, and I was talking to somebody else and they also had this fear of flying, and we were like just crying, laughing over these things like, oh, well, if there's a baby on the plane, then I know I'm not gonna die because God wouldn't kill a baby, or like sick shit like that. And it just felt so, it was one of the most like euphoric experiences of my life just talking to this other person who had also experienced fear of flying, because everybody else I'd spoken to made me feel like I was crazy for having a fear of flying, right? So talking to this person made me feel rational, it made me feel seen, and it helped with my fear a little bit, right? Sort of the same thing can be applied when it comes to like fear of top surgery or fear of going under. The biggest thing that I always tell myself, like I just got a hair transplant, I have little baby hairs growing under here. The reason I brought that up is because a hair transplant is 10 times more painful, like the actual experience, than top surgery. It's honestly a blessing that we get put under for top surgery, because I was not put under for the hair transplant, and it felt gory. It was not fun. A mindset that I have around literally everything in my life: one moment of discomfort should not stop you from living the life that you want to live. So I apply that, you know, when it comes to bodybuilding, I apply that when it comes to training. I honestly apply that for so many things daily, like literally throughout my day. When I'm getting my 10,000 steps, I'm like, bro, do I feel like doing this? No, but it's just one moment of being uncomfortable for living the life that you want to live in. When it comes to getting top surgery, right? It's like one day of being brave so you can spend the rest of your life being who you're actually meant to be. And you might surprise yourself. Like you might come out on the other end of it like, bro, I did that shit. What else can I do? There are some things that I want y'all who have not undergone top surgery yet to be mindful of when it comes to coming out of the anesthesia. Some things to expect that I wasn't super aware of and I wish that I had known. The first thing is, because you're put to sleep, they intubate you, so they put a tube in your throat, which sounds very scary, but you don't really feel anything when they're doing it. They do it after you're being put to sleep. When I woke up, I did have a sore throat. It felt similar to like when you're sick, when you have the flu and you have a sore throat. I would just suggest having some ice pops on hand or like some tea on hand so you could really just relieve your throat. It might be inflamed. That would be super helpful for you, and everybody doesn't experience this. A lot of my clients go through top surgery, and honestly, not too many of them have reported back to me on experiencing throat pain. But if you're like me and you're like the 1%, then you might get throat pain, right? The second thing to be aware of, and your doctor should tell you this, they didn't tell me about the throat pain thing until after the fact, which was fine. You might get nauseated when you wake up, right? And all the doctors do prescribe anti-nausea medication, so it's not like you just have to sit there and suffer. I think that being nauseated is one of the most uncomfortable things of human existence. I hate when my body does it. That's not a thing that should prevent you from getting top surgery, because they do give you medication for that, right? Literally your reaction to waking up after you've been put under, I was extremely emotional. I was like crying, I was angry. I think someone said that I was like trying to fight them or something when I was waking up. I don't remember any of that. I had really like no recollection within that first 5 minutes of trying to wake up. And generally, like, I hate not being in control. And if you've ever like fallen out, if you've ever had to take pain medication or morphine or anything like that, you know that the first thing that happens is that you feel like you're not in control. Like you're foggy, you're fuzzy, you're not sober, right? I don't fuck with that feeling. I don't like it. I feel like something's gonna happen, which probably has something to do with my traumas. You know, like if you've been put under before, then you totally know how you react. And I haven't heard too many extreme cases like myself waking up being emotional, but it's almost like it bought something out of me. Make sure that if you're undergoing top surgery soon, that you do your homework, you go through the Reddit pages, you learn about people's experiences so that you're not taken off guard, and so that you fully have at least a little bit of understanding on what to expect, right? Because that's the biggest thing. No one wants to feel like, damn, I wish I had this, or I wish I had my neck pillow, or I wish I had a long straw because I'm not able to pour the drink in my mouth like that, right? Preparation is everything, especially when you're gonna be in a compromised state after the fact. That is the video, y'all. I exposed way more of my anxieties than I intended to, but ultimately, if you have any more insights on going under that I may not have mentioned that you think could help somebody out who's like, y'all be reading through the comment sections like I see it. So if you have like anything that helped you specifically with that fear around top surgery, drop it in the comment section down below. Follow me on Instagram. It's gonna be linked down below. Like I always say, Devin loves you, Devin to Dawn, and Devin is out of here, boy.